Today's lesson is called The Jonas Brothers, Together Again. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
And my name is Helen.
Today, everyone, we are going to be talking about the Jonas Brothers. The Jonas Brothers. You guys know who the Jonas Brothers are. They are definitely world famous. Yeah, if you don't know who the Jonas Brothers are, chances are you have been living in a cave or something like that for the last decade or so, because boy, are the Jonas Brothers ever famous. That being said, they were famous for a very long time together, and then they kind of went their separate ways for a little while, and they became names unto themselves for the most part. But get this, everyone, okay? They're back together again, okay? They're going to be performing together once again. So, long ago, they performed together. They were the Jonas Brothers, but then they broke up. But hey, they're getting back together. They're together again.
That's right. This is really exciting news because the Jonas Brothers split up 6 years ago. But Kevin, Joe, and Nick are back. And I used to love watching them on the Disney Channel. And I remember the Camp Rock days when they were in the Camp Rock movies. And that they had their own Disney series for a brief time and came out with 5 albums. And the albums sold millions of copies. And those 5 include the latest one, which is called Happiness Begins, which was released this year. So they broke up around 6 years ago. And maybe the album's title says something about their feelings about their careers and working together again as a group now. Maybe they've become more mature and they have located a new kind of working system together, relationship together, that makes working together happy. Happy again. It's a new beginning for happiness. Happiness begins.
There you go. I'm so glad that they're back together. Oh, we can watch the Jonas Brothers perform together once again. Boy, are we ever lucky. All right, everyone, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll start talking about the Jonas Brothers. Together again.
The Jonas Brothers. Together again. 10 years ago, the Jonas Brothers were one of the most popular boy bands in the world. Young fans went crazy for the handsome, wholesome brothers. They played jam-packed concerts, sold millions of albums, and won multiple awards. Now they're back with new music and a new sense of who they are.
Da家好，第一部分我们看到单字 wholesome， 这个字是形容词，课文中指符合良好道德规范的、健康的、有益身心的。例如My grandpa used to teach me how to live a wholesome life when I was young. 我年轻的时候，爷爷总是教导我如何过健康的生活。另外，在 wholesome 的前面字首加 un， 则成了反义词 unwholesome， 用来指不卫生的、不健康的、有害身心的。我们可以说Teenagers should be taught to avoid unwholesome things, such as alcohol and tobacco. 青少年应该被教导远离有害身心的东西，像是酒精和烟草。再来，我们看到一个动词 jam-pack， 有塞满、塞紧的意思，像是 I like to jam-pack my schedule with activities when I travel alone. 我独自旅游时喜欢把活动行程排得满满的。在课文中，我们看到这个字后面加了 ed， 变成形容词，指人或物挤得满满的。举例来说 During rush hour, the jam-packed station is full of passengers waiting in line. 上下班尖峰时间，拥挤不堪的车站满是排队等车的乘客。
And welcome back. So today we're talking about the Jonas Brothers together again. We'll jump right into the first sentence of the first part here. It says, 10 years ago, the Jonas Brothers were one of the most popular boy bands in the world. Young fans went crazy for the handsome, wholesome brothers. So around 10 years ago, they formed their band and they got their big break on the Disney Channel, and they became instantly famous as the band called the Jonas Brothers. And young fans went crazy because they were handsome, good-looking, wholesome, and they were brothers. So it was just a cute situation, a cute set.
There you go, the Jonas Brothers. 10 years ago, they performed together, okay? They were a trio that performed together, but they kind of broke up at a certain point and they went their separate ways, like I said before. But that's no longer the case now. Remember, the title is The Jonas Brothers Together Again, so they're no longer apart. How about that? They're going to start performing together once again. I don't think it's possible for me to contain my glee, but I'll do my best. Anyways, yes, the Jonas Brothers. They're handsome and also wholesome. Okay, by the way, earlier Helen did mention this. If you're handsome, you're good looking. But this word handsome, it's usually reserved for boys, okay? Boys and men can be handsome. That means they're good looking. Now, if you happen to be a girl, the words for a good-looking girl are words like pretty. Further, we do have this word wholesome. They're wholesome brothers, okay? If you're wholesome, you're good. You're a good person deep down. No one could ever conceive of you of ever doing anything wrong, okay? And yes, these are wholesome brothers. If you had a daughter, you'd have no problem with her bringing home one of the Jonas Brothers as a boyfriend. You'd think, hey, that's a nice kid right there. What a wholesome young man.
Right. Wholesome can also be used to describe, for instance, a TV program. So a wholesome TV program is a program that can be enjoyed by the whole family, not just the adults, but children as well, because it doesn't contain any violence or anybody doing bad things, breaking the law. So it's a wholesome television program. And one of the appeals of the Jonas Brothers when they first started, one of the reasons why people loved them so much was that they had a wholesome image. So they seemed like really nice young boys who had a good influence over their fans. There was nothing dangerous about them. And that is the whole idea of the Disney Channel. The Disney Channel put out programs and nurtured young stars to develop this image of wholesomeness so that fans could enjoy their music and like them as fans and also gain their good and positive influence.
There you go, Disney. You can't go wrong with Disney, okay? If you're a parent, if you put on a Disney movie, you can be sure that that movie will be safe for a child, okay? Disney movies and Disney products, okay, are commonly wholesome. They're usually wholesome. In fact, I can't think of a more wholesome company than Disney when I think about it. Anyways, moving on. They, the Jonas Brothers, played jam-packed concerts, sold millions of albums, and won multiple awards. And yeah, we're talking about this period of time about 10 years ago. They were still together there, and they played to jam-packed concert crowds, okay? They played these concerts. There were people everywhere. There was no space left for anyone else at any of these concerts. They also sold many, many albums, millions of albums, and then they won multiple awards. So here we have the word multiple. Here, the word multiple means many.
Right. It's just another way to say many. So I could say if someone speaks many different languages, that person can be said to speak multiple languages.
There you go. Multiple, many, numerous. I think you guys get the idea. Anyways, now they're back. Yes, the Jonas Brothers are back with new music and a new sense of who they are. All right, everyone, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll continue reading from an article called The Jonas Brothers Together Again.
Brothers Kevin, Joe, and Nick Jonas grew up in a conservative Christian family in New Jersey. Their father, who was a pastor and former Christian music artist, helped them manage their band. Their career took off after they were signed by Hollywood Records and appeared in the hit Disney movie Camp Rock.
第二部分我们看到单字 pastor 这个字是名词，指新教教会的牧师。 举例来说 Leon's father is a pastor, so he spent his whole childhood in the church. Leon 的父亲是一名牧师，所以他整个童年都在教会里度过。接着我们看到一个片语 take off， 表示事业等蓬勃发展，突然成功。例如 Edward started a small business that took off after about a year. Edward 开创的小事业在大约1年后开始飞黄腾达。另外 take off 还有下列2个意思。第一个是指飞机起飞，可以说 The airplane took off and flew across the ocean to the United States. 飞机起飞越过海洋飞往美国。第二个有动身离开的意思，像是 I'm going to take off in a few minutes, so tell me now if you need anything. 我过几分钟就要离开了，所以如果你有需要什么，现在就告诉我。
And welcome back. So we're talking about the Jonas brothers Kevin, Joe, and Nick Jonas, and their return to the spotlight. So the brothers grew up. Let's talk a little bit first about their background before we talk about what they are up to currently. So they grew up in a conservative Christian family in New Jersey. Conservative here is someone or something that is usually tied to traditions, and it's not willing, or the person is not willing to accept new ideas or styles. In America, it usually means somebody who likes family values. So a conservative person doesn't like change, likes values that are associated with the family, very wholesome qualities. So the Jonas brothers grew up in a conservative family, so the family probably wasn't a family of artists and progressive thinkers.
No. They were a conservative Christian family. They were traditional. They were old-fashioned. They believed that old is better than new, okay? We're going to do things the old-fashioned way, the traditional way, because these new things, these new ideas, we don't trust them. We don't like them. The old and established way is the better way of doing things. So that's how they grew up in a family like this. They were conservative and also Christian, i.e., they probably went to church a whole lot and they worshipped Jesus Christ, hence Christian. They were Christians, I should say. Anyways, their father, who was a pastor and former Christian music artist, helped them manage their band. So they started this band, they liked performing together, and their dad noticed, hey, you guys are pretty good, I'm going to manage you. By the way, the father here was a pastor. Now, I was Christian, but I was actually Catholic, okay? And when I grew up, I used to go to church on Sundays, and the person who used to say Mass was called the priest, okay? Now, very often, Christian churches, they might be smaller, and the person who leads services might be called a pastor. So apparently here their father was not unlike a priest.
Right, the father was a pastor, and he was also a Christian music artist, and that's pretty interesting. For one thing, in America, there is a genre of music called Christian rock. It's basically rock music, but there's a very Christian message to it. It might talk about Jesus or love or good values, but with a heavy rock beat. So it can be pretty interesting. So the Jonas brothers grew up in this environment with a father who's not only a pastor, but also a Christian music artist. No wonder they got their start as a band the way they did, and also their start at the Disney Channel.
There you go. Now, their career, it says next, their career took off after they were signed by Hollywood Records and appeared in the hit Disney movie Camp Rock. So there you have it. They were off to the races. After this, they both signed a record contract, and they also appeared in a hit Disney movie. How about that? Yes, they were off to the races. They were officially successful. By the way, if you do say that something takes off, like a career, okay, you're saying that this thing becomes successful quite quickly.
That's right. I could say, for instance, the restaurant opened last year and immediately took off, which means the restaurant opened last year and immediately it had success. It had a lot of customers. It was making money. So to take off means to be successful suddenly or very fast.
There you have it. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up part 1 of our article on the Jonas Brothers. They're together again.
While their music career was blossoming, the Jonas Brothers were struggling behind the scenes. Their sudden fame and the continuous pressure to keep up their angelic image was a lot for the teenagers to cope with. In 2013, as they were producing a fifth album and preparing for a tour, they broke up. It was especially painful for them because they weren't just bandmates, they were brothers. The once inseparable trio believed they might never speak again, much less get back together as a band.
第三部分，我们看到形容词 angelic 用来指善良的、天使般的，像是 Our hearts were melted when we saw the baby's angelic face. 看到婴儿天使般的脸庞，我们心都融化了。最后，我们看到一个单字 trio， 这个字是名词，指三人组合、三重奏。例如 The singing trio gave a wonderful performance tonight at the Central Park. 今晚在中央公园有三重唱精彩的演出。
And welcome back. So we're talking about the Jonas Brothers. So their career takes off very quickly, basically around 10 years ago, a bit more than 10 years ago. And they have had hit records. They have starred in Disney movies. So they're flying high, basically. But there's a problem. And here it says, while their music career was blossoming, the Jonas Brothers were struggling behind the scenes. So on the one hand, their music career was blossoming. When you say blossoming in this context, it means the career was developing and becoming successful, and it's usually used in a very positive context. Like a flower, it's blossoming, it's becoming better and better. But behind the scenes, which means in an area of their life that wasn't public, that the public couldn't see, couldn't witness, the Jonas Brothers were struggling. They were having problems.
There you go. So their music career was blossoming. Things were getting just better and better for them. Their careers were developing and maturing and stuff like that. So on the outside, things looked good. But behind the scenes there, the brothers here, the Jonas Brothers, were struggling. Yeah, their sudden fame and the continuous pressure to keep up their angelic image was a lot for the teenagers to cope with. By the way, we've got a few things to talk about in this sentence. First of all, let's talk about this word continuous. If something is continuous, it keeps going and it doesn't stop. Yeah, if something continues, by the way, okay, it moves forward, okay? You move from one thing to the next without pausing. And yes, that's the idea here, is that they got famous very suddenly, and they had to stay famous. So they were feeling this pressure to stay famous, and that pressure wasn't going anywhere. It was there continuously, or you could say that this was continuous pressure. The pressure didn't let up. It was continuous.
That's right. And an example sentence for the word continuous is, the continuous noise coming from my neighbors upstairs prevented me from falling asleep. So they wouldn't stop making noise and I couldn't fall asleep as a result. Now, in this case, the continuous pressure that the Jonas Brothers felt, probably the pressure to stay on top or to maintain their image. We have to remember that they were growing up. They weren't kids anymore. So maybe as adults, they wanted to make their own music or develop their own musical styles, but they had the continuous nonstop pressure to be a certain way, act a certain way in front of the public. And it says here, part of the problem was that they didn't want to maintain this angelic image anymore because they were teenagers, and we think of an angelic image as being associated with children, with little boys and girls, but they're grown-ups now. So it was kind of difficult probably for them to maintain this image of an angel, of being really good and wholesome. They wanted to rebel perhaps.
Yeah. When they got famous there, this idea that they had to be perfect all the time, it was difficult for them to cope with. By the way, if you cope with something, you deal with that thing. You handle that thing, okay? You endure that thing, okay? If you cope with something, you live with that thing, even though it might be slightly unpleasant for you, okay? That's the idea here.
That's right. So they had difficulty coping with this situation. So in 2013, as they were producing a fifth album and preparing for a tour, they broke up. It was especially painful for them because they weren't just bandmates, they were brothers.
Yeah, and get this, the once inseparable trio believed they might never speak again, much less get back together as a band. Yes, it was terrible when the Beatles broke up, okay? But they weren't brothers. The Beatles broke up and they wouldn't talk to one another, or they just wouldn't get back together ever again or anything like that. But they were just kind of friends, whereas the Jonas Brothers, they broke up here, and not only were they a band, they were also brothers, so this is sad. Doubly sad. Not only did the world lose an unstoppable musical force, yes, the Jonas Brothers were just that good, but for the Jonas Brothers themselves, the fact that they were brothers and that they're no longer talking to one another, that's a real tragedy. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. Next time, we'll have more for you on the Jonas Brothers. For now, stay tuned, stay put for the Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第3部分提到，虽然强纳斯兄弟的音乐事业前程似锦，但他们在幕后却备受煎熬。他说 Their sudden fame and the continuous pressure to keep up their angelic image was a lot for the teenagers to cope with. 一夕成名跟维持良善形象的持续压力，对于还是青少年的他们来说是难以应付的课题。好，句子里面用到片语动词 keep up， 它表示继续保持，这是及物用法。我们会用 keep up 加上名词来表达继续做某事，继续保持怎么样。像文中的 keep up their angelic image， 维持这种像天使一般的这种良善形象。好，那还有我们平常要鼓励别人的时候，你可以说 keep up the good work， 意思就是说继续保持这么好的表现。好，那另外有一个片语叫做 keep up appearances， 字面上的意思是维持表面，那它常常用来指实际情况跟表象不符合，表里不一，就蛮类似中文说的这种做表面功夫啊，撑场面打肿脸充胖子的语义。好，那要特别注意 appearances， 它固定要用复数形。例如 They keep up appearances among family and friends even though their marriage was falling apart. 尽管他们的婚姻破裂了，他们还是在亲友面前做表面功夫。好，读到课文最后一句，他说 The once inseparable trio believed they might never speak again, much less get back together as a band. 曾经密不可分的三人组认为他们或许不会再交谈了，更别说是乐团会再次合体了。好，句子里面用到 much less， 它表示更不用说，更别提怎么样怎么样。它的意思跟用法就跟 let alone 一样，我们常常会把 much less 或者是 let alone 摆在否定句的后面，或者是有否定意味的句子后面。什么叫有否定意味的句子呢？那个句子里面可能会有 rarely、barely 或是 seldom等等的字词之类的。好，那么 much less 或者是 let alone 可以用来加强它前面那一句的否定陈述。例如 Jill can't run a mile, much less complete a marathon. Jill 连1里路都跑不完了，更不用说是马拉松了。好，那顺便补充2个用法。第一个是 never mind。Never mind 它表示没关系，不用介意，别担心，可是它也可以表达出跟 let alone 或是 much less 一样的语义，表达说更不用说怎么样，更别提怎么样。那它的用法也是常常摆在否定句否定陈述的后方，像是 He doesn't have enough money to pay his rent. Never mind buy a new car. 他连房租都不够钱付了，更别提是买新车了。好，那么第2个 not to mention， 这表示更别说，更不用说。那跟前面那几个有什么差别呢？ Not to mention 它常常会摆在肯定句的后面，用来加强前一句的肯定陈述，像是 The bakery makes delicious breads and cookies,Not to mention its famous cakes. 那间烘焙坊做的面包和饼干都很美味，更不用说是他们家有名的蛋糕了。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Wholesome. Chris works hard to maintain a wholesome reputation because he's an actor in a children's show. Multiple. Multiple online reviews say that this restaurant has bad service, so maybe we should pick somewhere else. Conservative. It's not uncommon for teenagers to clash with their conservative parents. Blossom. After Kara and Diana worked on the project together, their friendship blossomed. Continuous. The weather forecast is predicting a week of continuous rain. Cope. Exercising at least an hour a day helps Leon cope with stress.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.